Hey guys, welcome back to One Stop Biology. So guys, in today's video, we are going to start off with a new chapter, a very fresh chapter, which is biodiversity and conservation, which is chapter 15 of class 12th. So guys, basically we have almost reached towards the end of class 12th. There are just two more chapters left. So it will be easy for you to revise all the chapters now. And you can just do what? You can just go through the playlist, which is arranged chapter wise basically. So guys, yes, please do subscribe to the channel if you're new to the channel and press the bell icon to get all the notifications. And do like the video and share with all your friends, and yes, if you have any doubt, please do mention in the comments below. So let's start with the topic of biodiversity first, guys, right? So now when we talk about the entire biosphere, or when we talk about the entire earth, right, what we say is that there is enormous diversity of living beings, right? There is enormous amount of diversity of life that we usually encounter on earth. And just leave aside all the different type of living organisms. If we only talk about humans as well, there is such a rich variety of human beings, right, which are present across the entire world. And even it would be so hard to believe that if we talk about even the other species, there are around 20,000 species of ants. There are around 3 lakh species of beetles, or say there are around 20,000 species of fishes. And even if we talk about plants, there are 20,000 species of orchids. So, guys, you can understand, the great enormous diversity that we have. And this diversity that we are talking about is basically about the living organisms. And when we talk about the diversity of living organisms, we basically call it as the biodiversity, right? So if we see, our biosphere, it has immense diversity which exists not only at species level but at all levels of biological organizations. Now, ranging from, different type of macromolecules within the cell to the entire biome. So basically, biodiversity is the term which is popularized by some sociobiologist, and that's the first sociobiologist was Edward Wilson. So he was the first sociobiologist to describe the combined diversity. So basically, he described biodiversity as the combined diversity at all the levels of biological organization. Now, there are specific diversity which are important among these biodiversity. So, basically, when we talk about these diversity factors, we talk about three specifically. The first one is genetic diversity, then we have the second one, which is species diversity, and then comes the third one, which is ecological diversity. So let's study all these three different types of important diversity that we talk about, or that we study in the when we study the biodiversity. So the first one is genetic diversity. Now, genetic diversity basically depends on the high level of diversity at genetic basis, at genetic level. So basically, when we talk about even species, we say that a single species might show high diversity at the genetic level over its entire distributional range. Now, the genetic variation, which is shown, say, in the medicinal plant, which grows in different Himalayan region. The plant name is Rauwolfia vomitoria. So this plant basically grows in the Himalayan ranges, and this might, the genetic diversity which is shown by this plant, might be in terms of the potency or say the concentration of the active chemical that the plant produces that we use, and the chemical's name is reserpine, right? So basically, in similar way, if we talk about even different type of plants, India has more than 50,000. Remember, guys, 50,000 genetically different strains of rice and 1,000 variety of mango. All of these varieties of mango or rice are genetically different. So this is basically the genetic diversity. Now the second one is species diversity. So basically diversity at the species level. For example, the Western Ghats have greater amphibian species diversity than the Eastern Ghats. So each and every particular habitat might have diversity in specific type of species, and that depends whether the habitat is say aquatic, it is aerial, it is terrestrial, and everywhere this diversity of species would be different. So this is species diversity. Now the third one is ecological diversity. Now again, if we talk about the ecosystem level, if we talk at the ecosystem level, say for example India, it has different type of ecosystems with rainforests, with wetlands, with coral reefs, with deserts, with estuaries, right? So all of these ecosystem has a greater ecosystem diversity than a different country, like say Norway, right? Or even USA, right? So all of these different type of ecosystems that we have will always have different type of diversity. So this is basically the ecological diversity, right? So now, guys, it is also important to understand from where this diversity has come, and it would have taken, a lot of years for this diversity to be there in on Earth. So basically, it has taken millions of years of evolution to accumulate this rich diversity in nature. But we could basically lose all that wealth in less than 2 centuries if the present rate of species loss continues. So right now, basically the species loss is happening at a very fast pace, and this biodiversity and its conservation are very, very important, are very, very vital environmental issues of international concern. As more and more people around the world, they are beginning to realize the critical importance of this biodiversity, which is which is very important for our survival and well-being on this planet itself, right? So let's see how many species are there on Earth and how many species are there in India once, right? Let's see some of the data. Now, if we talk about the different type of species, now this is all basically the record which is already published. So these are all the published records of the species which are discovered and named. Now, according to the International Union for Conservation of Nature and Species, right? So basically, there is a union which is known as International Union for Conservation of Nature and Natural Resources, which is IUCN, and this was formed in 2004. So, according to them, the total number of plants and animal species which are described so far is basically more than 1.5 million. This is total, plant and animal species. This is 1.5 million. But also, we have no idea how many species are still there and which are yet to be discovered and described. Right? So basically, a large proportion of species which are waiting to be discovered are in tropics or they are in the regions which are, you know, not be yet been explored, and we have a lot of insects or even different group of animals or plants to come up with a gross estimate. So basically some extreme estimates ranges from 20 to 50 million of species to be there globally, right? And there are some estimates made by Robert May which places the global diversity to be 7 million. So you can see there are different, types of data which are available, and no one basically knows what is the exact number of species diversity, globally. No one knows that, right? Now, if we talk about Earth's biodiversity on the currently available species inventory, more than 70% of all these species are animals, and then plants include around 22%. So animals are more than 70% and plants include around 22%. Right. Even now, among animals, insects are the most species-rich taxonomic group. That is the largest group when we even study taxonomy as well. So basically, out of every 10 animals, 7 are insects. Right. Now, again, we are not yet sure about the diversification of insects. It might be very large, right? And there would be a lot of varieties which is yet to be discovered. Again, the number of fungi species, in the words, more than the combined total of the species of fishes, amphibians, reptiles, mammals. So you can see how different it is to estimate, right? How different it is to estimate all of these species. So even if you see this figure here, you'll see what it means exactly, right? So this is basically the global diversity. If we talk about plants, now you can see here that in plants, here you can see fungi, angiosperms, a big number, some of the mosses, ferns, algae again, better biodiversity, and then lichens. Similar way, we have invertebrates, obviously insect occupying a very huge amount. Then we have mollusks, then we have crustaceans, and then we have other animals as well. Even in vertebrates, again, fishes almost half, and then we have birds, reptiles, mammals, and amphibians, right? So this is almost, how we can represent the different types of animals which are there. Now, if we talk about India, basically India covers around 2.4% of the world's land area, and its share of the global species diversity is 8.1%, which is quite impressive, right? Now, if we talk about the 12 mega diversity countries of the world, India is one of them, and nearly 45,000 species of plants and around 90,000 species of animals have been recorded from India, right? So if we, accept all of these estimations, we can say that India is a very important part of the world, which is very, very rich in species biodiversity. So guys, this is all about some of the estimates and in general, what are the different types of diversity factors that we consider when we talk about biodiversity. I hope you would have understood these facts. Please do like the video and share it with all your friends if you do. And yes, please do let me know if you have any doubts in the comment section or over WhatsApp. I have mentioned the WhatsApp number in the description of the video. And yes, guys, if you're new to the channel, please do not forget to subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon to get all the updates over notifications. Thanks for watching this video, guys. See you in the next one. Till then, take care. Bye bye.